Hey, what is up, guys? It's Brendan here, and today we're going to be going over the 7 best small business accounting software, both free and paid. So we're going to be going through all of the different options that you may have depending on your business size, whether you're a small business such as a freelancer or self-employed, or if you're scaling all the way up as a larger small business moving into larger and larger sizes and need the additional reporting and management of your bookkeeping and accounting. So that's what we're going to be diving into in this video here today, and taking a look at the first accounting software. We have Intuit QuickBooks. Now, it's no surprise if you have been looking at different accounting software that QuickBooks is really at the top of the list, and each of the different softwares we're going through in this video have their pros and cons, of course, which we're going to be diving into. And what my personal favorite is, it really just depends on your exact scenario. So hopefully each of these different softwares can kind of match exactly what you may need out of an accounting software, because every business is different depending on what your needs are within your business. And that's a very important key factor to mention, is that there really isn't one best overall solution, although I would say that QuickBooks is at the top just because they have the most different options for various different size businesses. So taking a look here at QuickBooks, they really are the best overall, but each one really fits different categories depending on your specific business needs. Now, taking a look at QuickBooks, well, what do they offer? They are from Intuit, so they do have very good connections as far as linking things with, if you're using TurboTax already, or if you're familiar with Mint, Intuit, that whole suite there. They also own QuickBooks, so they make things very simple if you want to link things together and be able to manage your business that way. So that's one of the key perks that stands out. They've also been around a while. They are pretty much the industry standard for a lot of accountants that are out there for small businesses. A lot of them are familiar with QuickBooks. You can find a lot of different tutorials online as far as how to use QuickBooks, how to get familiar with it. Now, with all the popularity that QuickBooks has, and because it's owned by Intuit, it does cost a bit of money. So we're starting with some of the more paid solutions at the top of this video. Later in the video, we're going to be getting more into the free solutions and what you have there as far as free versus paid accounting software. So that's what we're diving into, just as far as, the layout of this video. So for QuickBooks accounting, they allow you to do the invoicing, and pretty much all the different accounting software is going to offer all the basics. It just depends on what their key strengths are. Now, I would say that QuickBooks key strength is they're really the most popular, which comes with a lot of features as far as people being familiar with it. So if you need to hire somebody, they already know how to use it. They're already familiar with it. It's easy to get things linked up and together. And that's one of the biggest perks of QuickBooks. And now, as far as the different products and pricing, I'm going to be breaking QuickBooks SelfEmployed down later in the video because I feel that it's a little bit different than just the small business QuickBooks. So and we'll break down the comparisons between QuickBooks versus QuickBooks SelfEmployed as well in this video. So regular QuickBooks is good if you have various different sizes of small businesses. So at the base level, they start at this pricing point. Now, of course, these prices are subject to change depending on when you're looking at this video. What they might be now may be different. It just depends on current deals that they're doing or what their pricing is. But at the base level, this is what the current pricing is on QuickBooks at the base level. And then you have it scale up. Now, if you want to see the specifics of the various different pricing and what they actually offer, this is what we're getting into now on the QuickBooks pricing. So as far as the various features within QuickBooks for small businesses, they allow you to track income and expenses, of course, off of the simple start plan. They have invoicing, tax deductions, general reporting, tracking miles, organizing receipts, cash flow, sales, and sales tax estimates, as well as managing 1099 contractors. Those are all the base level features, and it is a scaled up version from the self-employed, which we're going to be looking at a little bit more in this video, later in this video. So I would say if you have 1099 contractors that you're utilizing and you're looking to scale up your small business as a small business entity, really treating it as a separate entity within itself. Now, you don't necessarily have to be an actual entity. You can use this as a sole proprietor, LLC, partnership, corporations, nonprofits, and more, obviously. So even if you are just a sole proprietor, you can still use this and use it effectively, depending on, of course, how your tax structure is set up, how your corporation is set up. It really just depends on how you have things designed. But if you treat things more as a business entity, as how your small business operates, then I would say that the QuickBooks for small business is better for you in comparison to the self-employed. We're going to be diving into the comparisons a little bit later. But if you are an actual entity, even if you're a sole proprietor, but you treat things more like an entity in the way that you do your accounting, and then I would say stick with the small business in that scenario. We're going to be diving into the self-employed, where that fits in, but I just want to get that at the top of this video in comparing between the different options that you have. Now, if you are more scaled up, you have employees, or you have people that are working under you, or you're outsourcing your accounting, then I would say the Essentials or the Plus. The Plus is actually the most popular plan. That allows you to get users. Now, it does cost money, obviously. Going from the base level, going up, more money per month is going to get you those additional users. So it does cost more money for more users. But at that point, if you're outsourcing and scaling things up where you need more users, then you could probably afford to spend more money on the software. And they know that. So to get more features, it's going to cost you more money. So, and if you have various project profitability, tracking inventory, if you need all these kind of things, as well as tracking time, which is nice that that's implemented in there as well, then it makes sense to go for the higher end systems. If you are a larger small business, if you don't need the additional users, maybe you're doing it all yourself, then the simple start plan is probably best. But if you need the additional users, then probably jump over to the Essentials and the Plus. And the Advanced is really if you need all the additional premium apps, you have a separate team. That's almost scaling into beyond small business, almost to larger mid-sized businesses for the Advanced. But it just depends on what you need. You have a lot more business analytics. So if you have reporting requirements as a small business, then maybe jumping to the Advanced makes sense. But for most people, if you have someone managing it, you're going to need the additional users. Then stick within the Plus. If you need more people on the plan, then go there. But if you don't have people and you're just doing it yourself, then you could do the simple start. So that's within treating it as an entity. That's really QuickBooks in a nutshell. Between the different options. Of course, you also have payroll that you can utilize within QuickBooks, and invoicing and bills. Those are pretty standard features across all of the different accounting softwares. Now, in just a second, we're going to move into the next one here, but you can see the various different reporting. This is all just on their homepage, of course, as far as managing cash flows and all those kind of things like that. Now, moving into the next one, we have Xero. So Xero, I know it sounds like Zero, but it's actually spelled Xero. So it's Xero is zero. It's pronounced zero, even though it's like Xero. Don't ask me how why they came up with that name, but it's a cool 4-letter name. So Xero is another accounting software. Now, this is really good for people who are doing their accounting themselves, or if they have maybe someone doing it for them. They have a lot of integrations. Personally, the third-party integrations are really the best feature about Xero in comparison to QuickBooks. Is a bit more strung together as far as just because they are so big, so popular. They have a lot of features as far as that goes, but Xero is a lot more smooth, I would say. Xero is a little bit more sleek. You have a lot more third-party integrations. They also integrate with Gusto. So if you're doing payroll, you have Gusto. So nice, sleek, smooth software. If you want to keep things simple, then Xero is good for you. If you want the more advanced reporting, you probably need to stick with QuickBooks in comparison to Xero, because Xero doesn't have as much advanced reporting. It's a little bit more bare bones, but it's still pretty solid as far as accepting payments as well. You can track inventory. So maybe you're running an e-commerce business, then tracking the inventory through Xero is pretty solid. Paying various bills, expenses, and yada yada. They also have a lot of different bank connections, and you can even connect PayPal through Xero if you're looking to do things that way. So you can run and stitch together all the different software. So that's why Xero is really good for entrepreneurs as well, because you can stitch together all these different online softwares. So that's really Xero in a nutshell. Now, taking a look at pricing plans. They are just a hair bit cheaper, I think 50 cents per month currently on their early plan. So you can enter in bills, quotes, and invoices. Now you are a bit limited on the invoices here. Different expenses that you can track, and it does cost it's obviously an optional add-on for payroll with Gusto, and the payroll is also an optional add-on within QuickBooks, so that's something to consider there. You can send much more invoices and quotes at their most popular plan in comparison to their early plan. So as far as the base model, it's a little bit more bare bones with Xero in comparison to the base model of QuickBooks. You are going to need maybe some more apps if you want to connect things. If you really want things real streamlined, there are a lot more app options within Xero, but a lot of those apps do come at a premium price. So that is something to consider depending on what you need. Of course, all of these different companies and different accounting software, they all have free trials, so you can sign up and try them out. Of course, links down in the description box below as well to all the different accounting software that we're mentioning in this video. So that's really Xero in a nutshell as far as what they offer and the integrations as well. Moving into the next one, we have FreshBooks. Now, FreshBooks is really the best for service-based businesses. If you need the advanced invoicing for client service-based businesses, or if you're running maybe a business with contractors, I would say FreshBooks is really the best in that specific scenario. Now, of course, they do have various tools, as you can see here, for different freelancers, self-employed professionals, businesses with employees and contractors. But realistically, when you compare the different options that QuickBooks has or Xero has, I would say FreshBooks is better for service-based businesses, people that need to have the advanced invoicing, because invoicing on a base level isn't all that complicated with the other software options, but if you need to have recurring options with the invoicing and tracking those, making sure they're getting paid, that's really where FreshBooks comes into play, which obviously invoicing is key to a business with contractors or managing services. So if you're managing services, FreshBooks is where to go for that. Obviously, easy invoicing. That's really the best and most built out feature that they have. Of course, they have all the other basics as well, that, you know, expenses, time tracking, projects, payments, and so on and so forth. Various different integrations. Really, a lot of the other integrations are things that you can find pretty much across almost all the different softwares, other than a couple of the last ones that we're going to be mentioning. But that would be the biggest benefit there for service-based businesses that need the invoicing. Now, moving into the next one. Now, I treat this as almost a completely different software option with QuickBooks SelfEmployed, because it really is a different product than the traditional QuickBooks for small businesses. So, like I said, the biggest difference between QuickBooks SelfEmployed and regular QuickBooks for small businesses is that QuickBooks SelfEmployed is really designed for independent contractors and freelancers. If you are a 1099 independent contractor or freelancer, then the QuickBooks SelfEmployed is excellent in that regard. They have a very low monthly price for the self-employed version, and they even have the different TurboTax bundles because they are owned by Intuit. So they do offer various different bundles, as you can see here, for the self-employed tax bundles, which is pretty good. Now, the downside here with QuickBooks Self-Employed is that it really is a little bit more limited if you're treating things more as a separate entity. If we take a look at the plans and pricing comparison here, this is really where you can see the biggest difference between the two. Is for small business, you have all these different entity options, and with freelancer, the self-employed is for sole proprietors who file a Schedule C. That's really all that the self-employed version is for. And they market this a lot because this is really the product that's going to be appealing to most people in general that are doing various different side hustles or self-employed things. But if you are running an actual small business, I would steer away from the self-employed freelancer model. If you are actually running a separate entity, you're going to need the small business version if you are treating things like an entity to be able to manage and track things properly and run the right reports that you want to be able to manage, versus the freelancer version. is really just basic bare bones level. It's to track income and expenses, things that you could honestly do in a spreadsheet potentially, but it is all automated within the QuickBooks and Intuit system. So if you want things a little bit easier and you are okay with things being more bare boned, then the QuickBooks Self-Employed is a good option. They market this a whole lot, so I'm sure you've probably seen this before, and it is solid for those type of people who want things, if you just keep things simple and you're just going to be doing a simple self-employed model where it's pretty much just a sole proprietorship and you're linking things, and you can link things even directly into TurboTax. So it helps you separate the business and personal expenses, which is nice. And you could even do the quarterly estimated taxes calculated automatically, mileage tracking. So if you're going to be driving around for your self-employed business, then you can mileage track as well. But I just want to make it clear that this is for independent contractors and freelancers. If you're running the small business, you really do need to go up and pay a bit more for the small business version for that right level of reporting. You can switch between the two if things change, but if you're a freelancer, this is fine. But if you need more, then go with the small business. That's just a very important distinction between the two. Want to make that clear. So moving on to the next one, that's probably the best comparison between the two different options and what you might need. Moving into the next one, we have Zoho Books. So Zoho is a CRM company. They offer lots of different options as far as inventory, CRM, mail, projects. This is their books version. So Zoho is kind of a mix between paid and free. Now we're moving more into the free category. Zoho does have a really solid free version, but there's a reason why it's later in the list as far as the paid options because, well, we're going to take a look at the pricing in just a moment. But Zoho does have really nice, sleek reporting. As you can see here on their homepage, they market that right front and center. Very nice cash flow tracking and a very sleek dashboard looking at income and expenses and tracking what are your top expenses, what are your top income, payables, receivables. Very nice setup as far as that goes. Accounting, tax compliance, and integrations with various different apps. So they have a lot of features there, pretty much the typical things that you might be familiar with. Now, taking a look at the free version. So they do have a free version, but there is a limitation with that, and that is that the free version, we take a look at the pricing, you see a little bit more of the breakdown between the two, is that it is only for businesses with turnover under 50K USD per annual. So that is the limitation there on the free version. So if you're under 50K USD per year, then free version is good. And they have a ton of features that you would typically pay for with the other options I mentioned earlier in this video, such as QuickBooks, Xero, FreshBooks, or even the QuickBooks Self-Employed. If you're running things more as a small business, Zoho Books is good if you're underneath that income level. But if you're running things as a small business and you're looking to scale up, I don't know if I would personally recommend Zoho because the different options they have can get a little bit more limited as you scale up. It's not too bad. They do have all of that available. Of course, they have the yearly and monthly pricing plans. So if you want a free version and you're under a certain income level as a small business, then Zoho does have a lot of features at that level, and it's pretty nice that they do offer that, but it is income capped, which is a big downside in my opinion as far as having the income cap. But of course, as you make more money, then you can afford more expensive software. So that's generally how things scale up as far as the different integrations and what you might expect within Zoho. So Zoho is another good option. It's kind of a mix between the paid and free. So if you don't have the income limitations, then it's a good option. But if you do, then you might want to look elsewhere as far as how Zoho works and the integrations and familiarity that people have. If you're going to be going above the income threshold, then you might want to just route back to QuickBooks at the top of the list here. So that's something to consider within Zoho. Still an excellent option. And moving into the next one, we have Wave Financial. Now, this one is free for their base model, which offers a lot of accounting options, and it's free, which is nice. So this is one of the good free options. Is really the best free accounting software that you can find is the Wave Financial app, and you could even create multiple different business entities within Wave. The biggest downside, though, to Wave is that it is a little bit more limited as far as the reporting. So it's nice that you can have different business entities set up in there and track them separately, manage things between personal and business expenses or income as well. But Wave is good for a free option, but they do have some of the reporting limitations. Now, if you do need the invoices, they do also have that for free, which is nice. And they have the base level accounting for free for reconciling transactions in your accounting and bookkeeping that you might be doing. So they do also have payment solutions, but it is pay per use, and they do have monthly expenses if you're doing payroll. So if you are scaling up, Wave is not free if you're scaling up, of course, but really these features are going to be paid on any of the different accounting software. But for their base level that's free with the invoices and accounting software, it's really the best free option out there. And they don't have the income limitations such as Zoho with the whole 50K USD income limitations. So that's the nice thing as far as free being a really excellent, Wave being a very excellent free option. Now, moving into the last option in this video here today, it's really one of my personal favorite options, but it really just depends on if it's right for you. And that is utilizing Google Sheets or Excel. I'm mentioning Google Sheets in this video because we're going to be diving into a little bit is what else you can link up with Google Sheets, which is a nice feature. If you want things a little bit more custom, stick around and watch to the end. But you could go with Excel or Google Sheets, either one. Doesn't really matter, just depends on your situation. And this is nice because you can create your own complex spreadsheets, as they see here, or just anything custom and useful that you find beneficial in your business. Now, the downside is a lot of times it's not automated, but that's a pro and a con, that you have to do things manually because you can make sure that it's correct. And sometimes there's a little bit of human error in there as far as maybe making a mistake, but if you double check it or triple check it, that could help you out. If you want things really custom, Google Sheets and managing your accounting through Sheets is so nice. It's very simple. You don't have to worry about signing up for a bunch of different accounts and getting marketed to, hey, pay for this, pay for that, sign up for this, upgrade to this. Like, if you want things just bare bones and simple and custom, then Sheets or Excel is an excellent option. They do have a lot of different starter templates as far as expense reports, and this is a good way to keep your fees and expenses to a minimum. If you want things free and easy to use, then utilizing Sheets or Excel is an awesome option. Now, the only downside is some of these templates might not be great for you. It's a little bit more work to get things set up, but once things are set up with Sheets or Excel, it is very nice and fully customizable that you can design and just make things simple, and you don't have to worry about all the extra things that get strung with that. Now, the reason why I'm mentioning Google Sheets specifically in this video is that you can also link Google Sheets with Google Data Studio. Now, Google Data Studio, bit more advanced if you are running small business reporting and you want to do more of the data management, data analytics. This is almost scaling up into a whole different subject, but I just want to mention this as a nice add-on. Within Google Sheets, you can also link it to Google Data Studio. And that's nice for accounting because you can create your own custom reporting and data in one spot. So you can explore the data, utilize different metrics, and share things to your team. And you can add in various different Google Analytics, Google Ads, BigQuery, and within that too, you can see there's Google Sheets. It's a little small there, but you can link Google Sheets and link up your accounting to your Google Data Studio and have everything about your business, not just the accounting, but also your marketing, your clients. You could have pretty much infinite things all stitched together within Google Data Studio, which is a really, really powerful feature if you're looking for advanced data reporting and metrics. Of course, you could link things together as well in other options that I mentioned in this video with other links, but it's free to set up the Google Sheets with the Google Data Studio if you want to get more advanced reporting and connecting things all together. That is another option there. So that's something else to consider. Overall, I would say each of these different accounting softwares, including QuickBooks, Xero, FreshBooks, the QuickBooks SelfEmployed, Zoho, Wave, and Google Sheets or Excel, they all excel in different areas. So it's up to you to decide what is best for your business as far as your accounting. So with that said, you guys, that is all for today's video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to smash the like button, hit the subscribe button as well, and the notification bell so you're notified whenever I upload a future video. Those are the 7 best small business accounting softwares, both free and paid. So anyway, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.